5 Sawzall blades were harmed in the making of this video. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Before we start today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to you guys, because we just hit 250 subscribers, and that is so awesome. That means so much to me that you guys want to continue seeing what I'm doing with my car and just the videos that I put out. So that's super cool. I'm super thankful. You guys are awesome. In today's video, we will be taking the factory upper control arms out and putting in my adjustable ones. The other thing that we'll be doing is I have the hatch open right now. As you can see, I just replaced the struts in it, so now it actually holds itself up. I am going to be taking off the rear wiper because I'll never use it. I don't drive the car in the rain, there's no point, and it looks bad, so I'll be taking it off. I'm gonna be walking through that with you guys. The other thing that I want to get done today is putting my FP Black onto my exhaust manifold, just getting it all mounted up. Basically, what that entails is swapping the O2 housing over. That's gonna be really the last thing that I want to accomplish today. So let's get started. First thing we're gonna want to do in order to take the rear wiper off is this plastic piece has to come down. This is just held in with clips, so you just go along the edge. Okay, so now as you see here, we have, this is the whole wiper motor, and it looks like rear defroster as well. So before we take the motor out, pop this little cap up. There's a little bolt here, and then this whole arm will slide off, and you'll be able to pull the motor assembly out to the other side. Okay, now that that is off, open the trunk back up, and then we got a bolt here, and a bolt here, and then we'll take that off. So then now what we're left with is this little cap. This should come right off. I'm not gonna take it off right now, but I am going to end up plugging this, but it's not gonna come in this video because I don't have what I need to do it. So we're gonna move on to the next thing now. To remove the upper control arm, there's a nut right here, and then there's also a nut in there. You can see it right there. So we're gonna have to take that one out and this one out. I am going to have this car aligned properly when I have the tires put on, so I'm not too worried about where I get it right now. I just want to get it installed. So if you've ever done upper control arms on one of these, you know that those inside bolts are really hard to get out. It's an eccentric bolt, and they're usually just rusted in there. I got the top one out. That one's already free and moving, but I'm gonna cut out the one that's in there, so let's get at it. Alright, after 3 Sawzall blades, it's finally out. So now, as you can see, we are ready to put our new adjustable upper control arm in. Well, now that that side's done, we get to start on this side. So as you saw on the other side, the brake line was zip tied to the coilover, and it was actually on the back side. This is what it looked like before I did that. I actually did that off camera, and it's just like kind of janky zip tied. This is how I got it. I haven't even been back here to do anything. So what I did was I went and lubed up both of the slide bolts for the caliper, and then put the brake line behind that coilover and zip tied it a little better. So I will do that on this side too, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get this bolt taken off, and then we'll cut that one out. All right, there we go, it's in. All right, so here we have my turbo setup and my O2 housing and my tile wastegate. So this is actually a Punishment Racing O2 housing. It was originally external dump, but as you can see, I now have a recirculated setup on it. So I sent this O2 housing out with the wastegate to Morrison Fab. If you don't know who they are, look up Morrison Fabrications on Instagram, Facebook, they're everywhere. Check them out for sure. They do awesome work. They welded this pipe right here onto my O2 housing and, you know, cut it out and everything, and so now I have a recirculated setup and I love it. Basically what we're gonna do, I gotta take the water lines as well as the oil line and the oil drain fitting off of this turbo and the O2 housing, and then we're gonna put it on the FP Black. So I think this is all I'm going to do today. I was planning on putting, you know, all the lines and stuff on it, but I'm gonna get some new crush washers. These look, I don't know, kind of old. I've had these for a while, so I'm gonna get some new crush washers just because I can, because everything's off right now and I got plenty of time. But I just wanted to give you guys a little size comparison. The 68 HGA versus the FP Black. Both billet wheels. And really, honestly, the exhaust housings are not much different. They look almost identical. But yeah, there's kind of your look at the two turbos. So I'm really excited to be putting this one back on. The sounds that this turbo makes are crazy, guys. Like, it's insane. And I just love the way this looks. I was incredibly impressed with how the 68 HGA performed. But when you look under the hood, I don't like the J-pipe and the stock appearing turbo look. It's cool, but you throw this thing on and man, it changes things. What's going on, guys? We are back. It's a new day, same video. I didn't really get to a point where I wanted to finish the video when I was here the other day. So I came back, it's now what, 3 days later? 3 days. I have a few more things. I got the plugs that I needed, so I'm gonna show you guys that. And then I kind of wanted to walk you guys through some of the other things that I have planned for this car. So let's take a peek at the plugs that I'm gonna be using for the trunk. So as you can see here, I already have this one in. Now I am going to paint this a different color, but all this is just a little plug like this. So this one you can actually access from the trunk. So this slides in here once it's painted, of course. I usually put a little bead of clear RTV. Usually I say that because I did this on my last Eagle Talon. But I'll put a bead of RTV on here. I have some clear stuff, and then I'll just set it on there, and it'll be pretty close. And I mean, you can't really even see it, so not so bad. And then I also have one for the spoiler. So that one you'll be able to see a little bit more, but even so, it's better than what I had, which was just the antenna basically shaking around in there. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and paint these. I'll show you. This is the color of paint that I got. It's actually pretty close, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit more gold, but I think it'll be fine, especially for the places that it's going. So we're gonna go ahead and spray those and then get all this cleaned up so that I can get ready to install those in there. There's another part that I ordered for this car that I'm really excited about, and if you follow me on Instagram, a couple of you guessed it, but I did post that there was another part coming. That was probably 2 weeks ago. I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but it is here, so I want to show you guys that and kind of explain why I went with it. So I found this ACT lightweight flywheel on Facebook. So this is what I ordered. It is way smaller. It's been used, it's got a little bit of miles on it, but it's not too bad. And when you compare it with my stock flywheel that I had in the car, it looks way better. So here's the size comparison. So here's kind of the best way I'm gonna be able to do this, but yeah, that's a heck of a size difference. And in weight, the stock flywheel is way heavier. So I'm super excited to be running that. That will help with RPMs and some of the shifts. I've noticed that when I do my really quick shifts in some of the videos that I'm sure you guys have seen, the RPMs tend to not go down as fast as I want them to, so the lighter weight flywheel will help the RPMs drop a lot faster, which will be easier on the transmission and will get me a little bit better shift. It definitely will make the car more interesting to drive, but it's already interesting to drive, so not much will probably change, but it'll be a really good addition. Another thing I have for my engine that I have to do is, I don't know, you guys probably have never noticed because I never told you about this, but most of the threads for my valve cover bolts are stripped. So what I ended up using was a completely different bolt thread. I think this one's standard, I'm not entirely sure. And just like a bunch of washers, and I was able to keep it down, it didn't leak or anything, but it looked ugly and most of them were missing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put studs into the head in all these spots, and then I'll put nuts on them, so it'll just be a studded valve cover. So when I do that, I will walk you guys through that as well. One of the other things I plan on doing has to do with the throttle body. I have the FIV on here. I think I mentioned this potentially once before, I'm not entirely sure. But I'm going to be deleting this whole thing. I should have brought my block off plate today. I just remembered that I forgot it. That's just a couple bolts that'll be really easy to install, so that'll be really nice. It'll also make driving the car a little bit more interesting. The cold starts will be a little bit more interesting. I'll kind of have to hold my foot on the gas to get it going, but whatever. I mean, it's a race car, so whatever I gotta do to make it run better. I'm hoping that blocking off that FIAV will also help with the idle issue that I was having. My car would idle surge all the time. Literally any time that I was basically not stopped, it would idle surge. If I was coasting, whatever, it would idle surge, but then I'd come to a stop and I'd sit there for a second and then the RPMs would drop down. I don't entirely know what that was, but I'm guessing it had something to do with that, so hopefully the block off plate will help with that. Another thing I have for the car is this Moroso battery box. Pretty self-explanatory. Gonna mount that to the car and then my battery will go in that. And then I also brought over some Redline heavy shockproof. That's gonna go in the rear diff, so that's gonna get some nice fresh fluid. I'll go with all Redline fluids for my transmission and transfer case and stuff like that too, so we'll definitely be hitting up Modern Automotive Performance to get some fresh fluids. Another thing that we have going on next month, it'll be about 4 weeks out. Today is the 16th and it is on May 17th. We will be going to a dyno session. The car will be hitting the dyno, and we're gonna hopefully put down some good numbers. I don't know entirely what to expect. I'm hoping maybe 500 out of the FP Black. My injectors put out about 1250 cc, so I don't know. If you know how to do the math on something like that, leave it in the comments, because I'd be interested to see what you think it's gonna put down. And anybody who wants to guess what the car puts down, leave in the comments, because it'll be really interesting to see. I've never even been to a dyno session or seen a car on a dyno besides in videos, so my first time seeing a car on a dyno is going to be my car, which I'm super excited about. So again, that session will be happening on May 17th, and of course, I will be bringing you guys along, because we all want to see what this car puts down, but we still have a lot of work to do in order to get this car to that point, which brings me to another thing. Another thing that I will be having done to the car before the season is I will be having a local detailing company come out and detail the whole car, which will be awesome because I've never had it done the whole time I've had this car. I've had this car for 3 years, and the only thing I've done is wash it. I cannot wait to see what it is going to look like once it's detailed, because I'm sure it's gonna be incredible. So I guess the final little update that I have for you guys is I have talked to Jack's Transmissions, and they have my housing, the brand new Mitsubishi housing, done. It's been machined. It was supposed to be assembled sometime this week. I'm hoping to have that back by next week, because I really want to put the engine and transmission back into this car. Not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that, which will be the last weekend in April. The weekend that follows that will be Cars and Coffee, and I really want to have this car there. And I think that there's a chance that we can get it there, but it's going to be a lot of work. So I'm planning pretty much that whole next weekend for putting this car back together, and then hopefully you guys are going to see it hit the road. I really want to drive this car again. I want to see it on the road, and I know you guys do too. So we still have a lot of work ahead of us. I've gotten most of it done, but putting the transmission back together is another thing that has to be done. Once I have that, and once I have the transmission in my hands and done and ready to go, bolted to the engine, it's gonna be fairly straightforward putting everything back together. Besides that, you guys, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to get done to this car, and it's getting done. So I really can't complain too much. I owe a lot to you guys, because you guys are a huge motivation and inspiration for me to keep building this car and improving this car and working on this car and keep my deadlines and just keep it on the road. Your guys' comments and your subscriptions and the fact that you're following my channel means a lot to me. Really, it is a huge driving force behind me getting this car back on the road. So thank you for all of that. As of right now, we just hit 270 subscribers. That is so awesome. I can't believe that we've made it this far. Again, thank you to all of you who are subscribing and coming back and liking the videos and commenting. I love it. It's awesome. It is so rewarding to see all of you guys coming back and being interested in what I'm doing, because I love this car and I love all of this stuff that I'm doing, but being able to share it with you guys is really something special. I think, just like in the last video, since it is so gorgeous outside, we have to end the video outside. It's like 65 degrees, I think. It's awesome. So again, like I said, thank you guys for your subscriptions. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, and I hope that you'll come back for the next one, which means, you know, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, thanks. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.